Get ready. Have you ever wondered why isn't there a Six Flags park in Europe? Well, what if we told you that at one very short point in history, there was actually multiple parks operating under the Six Flags brand across the continent? I'm sure some older viewers might remember this, but might not know the full story behind it. But why isn't there any currently operating at all? Well, it's a bit of a complex story with a lot of ups and downs. Before we provide you with a full history lesson, please go ahead and give this video a like, as well as pressing the subscribe button. We put out new theme park videos every week and it really helps promote our channel. Now that we have the typical YouTube spiel out of the way, sit tight as we bring you through the rise and fall of the Six Flags company and the reasons why there's no Six Flags parks in Europe today. Get ready. How did we initially get Six Flags parks in Europe? The Six Flags Group saw a string of ownership changes throughout its history. The company was owned by the Time Warner Group starting in 1993. It was around this time, however, that a competitor was making a name for itself in the industry. This company was Premier Parks. Premier started as a lot of companies do in real estate. Premier had eventually switched their interest from real estate to amusement parks by the late 80s. By the mid-90s, Premier had already accumulated a roster including 10 parks across America. In 1996, Premier went public offering shares at $17 each, which led to them generating almost $70 million. In 1997, after acquiring another couple of parks in North America, it closed a deal with the Walibi family parks in Europe. This saw Premier take 94% control over the group, which included 5 Walibi parks and Belgium added to their roster. Premier Parks would later go on to purchase 100% ownership of the Six Flags business from Time Warner in April 1998 for $1.86 billion. Premier quickly began rebranding their recently acquired parks in North America over to the Six Flags theme. But Premier weren't done with Europe just yet. Considering the recent acquisition of Six Flags as a whole from the Warner Group, they set their ideas on some other prospects. Warner already had established its own brand in the theme park industry. This included Warner Bros. Movie World Germany, now operating as Movie Park Germany, and a yet-to-be-built Warner Bros. Movie World Madrid. As part of this deal, Premier would also have exclusive rights to licensing of Warner Bros. Content in Europe. As they had done previously with their acquired parks in America, Premier began rebranding their European parks to Six Flags. In the year 2000, Walibi Flevo would become Six Flags Holland, while Walibi Wavre would later see its name changed to Six Flags Belgium in 2001. It was around this time that Six Flags teamed up with games developer Infogrames. Six Flags was licensed to be included in the Roller Coaster Tycoon sequel, which was later released in 2002. This saw a number of Six Flags parks included within the game itself, including Six Flags Holland and Six Flags Belgium. For many, this would be a point of reference to suggest that Europe definitely had its own Six Flags parks. Although from looking at the roster today, there's a striking lack of European parks now. What exactly happened? When Time Warner purchased 100% of the company back in 1993, they managed to restructure the company so that it actually took on over $800 million worth of debt. This debt doesn't just disappear though once the company changes hands. This means that by the time Premier took ownership, there was already debt which amounted to $890 million tied to the business. On top of this, Premier didn't slow down with their purchases. While things may have looked great for Six Flags on face value, they were slowly accumulating more and more negative equity. By the year 1998, Premier technically had long-term debts exceeding $2 billion. By the year 2000, the company was paying around $200 million in interest, just on these debts alone. With spiraling costs and more accumulation of debt, it's clear to see that the progress was just not sustainable. It was only a matter of time before these debtors would catch up with them and they would need a significant restructure. This pressure was also being added by some of their significant shareholders, one of which actually happened to be Bill Gates. His Cascade Investments company owned around 11% of the Six Flags business, and there was pressure placed on the company to turn things around. This would have ultimately meant re-examining their list of parks and deciding what needed to be sold. With it being distant from the main control over in the States, it would make sense that the European Six Flags parks would be the first ones on the chopping block. In 2004, Premier made the decision to sell nearly all of their European parks to London-based investment company Palamon Capital Partners. Only one park remained, which was Warner Bros. Movie World Madrid. A deal was made whereby this park was actually sold back to Time Warner and the park was renamed under the name Parque Warner Madrid. It still operates to this day under that name, albeit not under Premier's ownership. Will we ever see Six Flags in Europe again? The issues seen with the European parks were indicative of the wider financial struggles within the business. But with that said, these would just be signs of worse things to come. Following the financial crash of 2007 and 2008, Six Flags was formally removed from the New York Stock Exchange in April 2009. The company then filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, meaning that the company had to undergo a formal restructure to repay its debts. During this time, the company became 92% owned by its lenders in exchange for writing off its $1.3 billion worth of debt. It's clear from this time that they had no real interest or feasibility to expand its roster, particularly into Europe anytime soon. In more recent years though, Six Flags saw a bit of a resurgence, but it changed their focus. Instead, they are now placing their financial investments into China and the Middle East. The Six Flags Group established a number of strategic partnerships with investment companies in Asia to help get the ball rolling on their new parks. But things haven't exactly gone to plan, with a number of these investment groups citing concerns in the market. Tourism still hasn't really exploded as predicted, particularly in the likes of Dubai, while other theme parks in the region have not done very well either. This means that a number of these projects have not progressed, with many believed to not be going ahead anymore. The COVID-19 pandemic definitely has also thrown a spanner in the works for these projects. Tourism and travel as a whole came to a standstill for the majority of 2020 and into 2021, with the theme park industry being heavily hit. Considering this, along with the shift to development of their portfolio into Asia, it doesn't seem like we will be seeing any big advancements of a Six Flags in Europe anytime soon. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out our Defunct series where we detail some former attractions in your favourite park. A link to our Six Flags Magic Mountain episode will be on screen now. Where do you think a European Six Flags park would be best suited? Leave a comment down below and let us know. Now you're ready.